not know what happened there. There we go. I don't know. I have no idea what happened. I had it plugged in, so no idea what went on. So we'll give it a minute here, guys. Let some people get in before we get started. So just give that a moment. So hi, everybody. So give you guys a minute. It's weird. It's saying, like, I'm seeing all the comments, and it's saying that there's one person in here. What, 16 thumbs up? How crazy is that? Who knows what's going on with YouTube? Who knows? But anyway, what are you going to do? All right, so before we jump into anything, I want to just remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No nastiness, anything like that. If you can't not do that, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here. So we're definitely not going to tolerate any of that. All right. So I got a couple things. I got to update you on a couple of things here. All right. Let me just I think I got to kill the volume on this first. So let me do that. Yep. All right. So that volume is killed on that. All right. Yeah, I blame Biden. It's got to be their fault, right? No, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. It's Trump's fault. Don't you know that? Everything that goes wrong or anything that's not good, it's Trump's fault. 2 years after, got to blame him. It's got to be his fault. Sandwiches, I bet Ed misses West Virginia. Yeah, I do. That feels more like home now, and I'm excited to continue to do what we're doing down there, and I'll be back there soon enough. So okay, so a couple things. Last live stream had a couple of emergencies. If you guys watched that live stream, you knew I had to have Heather come in, take over. I was cramping up really bad, and I'm thinking, what did I eat? And then it dawned on me. All right. So I will actually show you. My sister made me a container, and this container was full. I will show you now. It is no longer full, right? Peanut butter cookies. I absolutely love peanut butter cookies. But the problem for me, and I figured this out, after trial and error, and like, what is going on? Why is this happening? I have to have some kind of a peanut allergy because peanuts for me are a natural laxative. So like whenever you're bound up and you take something to help you go, I just go and make myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And the next day I am going like clockwork. So what happened was that particular day I had eaten, probably 6-7 peanut butter cookies. And I think that they caught up with me. And so I have not had one since. I will tell you that right now. But so that was what the issue was. Too much peanut butter. And no, I still like peanuts. I like, cashews and all that type of stuff. I just have to indulge in moderation. That's how that works. I have to indulge in moderation. So, but yeah, so I have a natural thing that works for me. So I don't ever have to worry about getting bound up because it's not going to happen. So, all right. So second thing, a lot of comments. Heather's got a new car, right? So we got Heather a new car. And so people were like, well, didn't she have the white car? Wasn't the white car there? Wasn't that her car? Okay. So we're going to address that. So we got that white car, and that was going to be, yes. And I like Reese's peanut butter cups as well. Yes, I do. I got that car for Heather. Okay. So that when she got her license and, then she would drive. Well, what happened was that car basically sat there for a year and a half and the engine ended up seizing up. Okay. And so, she never drove that car, not one time. She never drove it at all. She didn't get her license until was it last year? that I hurt someone's feelings, and then YouTube said I was bullying. Isn't it amazing? And it's funny that the trolls can come in here and eviscerate content creators, say all kinds of hateful, nasty things, and that's perfectly fine. You say something, and then you're the bully. It's just like, really? But welcome to what we all have to deal with now. It's just unbelievable. But anyway, so she never drove that car, so we ended up getting rid of that car, and so that's why. And that sucks. The white car. It could have been a nice second car for the Homestead. Yeah, it could have been, Jen, but it just, I ended up selling it. I had, I knew a guy that redoes cars, and he said, "Yeah, I'll take it," and so he bought it, and I don't know if he parched it out or what he did with it, whatever. It's so we got rid of that car, and so one of my intentions with coming up on this trip was to see if we could get Heather, you know, Ed, my name is pronounced Deanna. Deanne. Oh, Deanne, not Dina. Okay. All right. Well, sorry if I said that wrong. But anyway, so one of my goals was when this trip was to see if we could get Heather a car, and so we did. And so she's got her car now. She's happy, and so it gives her that freedom and independence. And it was funny because with her getting that car, it brought all those memories back for me. And yeah, it was 40 years ago, But when I got my first car, and there's nothing. I'm going to tell you what. Everybody on here, everybody, I don't care who you are, you will always remember your first car. You can tell me what year it was, what the make was, and what color that car was. Everybody can, because it's such a profound moment in your life that it's important. Yeah, Becky's happy too. Yeah, Becky's definitely happy too. But it helps Heather also with work. Opel record 1986 model. There you go. Yeah, everybody remembers their first car. It is a Heather. What is that called again? Heath? Guys, hold on. It's give me just 1 second. Heath, what's your car called again?
It's a 2017 Chevy Trax.
Trax. It's a 2017 Chevy Trax. It's all-wheel drive. It is a 4-cylinder, which is good. It's going to get 30 miles to the gallon for her, which is important. 1974 Nova 350 engine, 16 years old. Oh yeah, that's a nice engine. I think my Impala had a 351, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. It could have been a 350, but I think it was a 351. So, but yeah, you never forget that first car. So, took herself obviously to work today. The cool thing is too that her boss had asked her about picking up extra time before, and and Heather had said to her, I said, well, she goes, well, I'm relying. 351 is a Ford. Oh, okay, well, it must have been a 350 then, Joe. But anyway, her boss had asked her before about picking up more time. And she's like, well, when I have my own car, I can, but right now I'm relying on rides. And so, she wasn't able, like, they would want her to stay extra, like, on a Wednesday, because that's wing night and they're busier, And so, if she stayed a couple extra hours, obviously she can pick up some more money. And so that's not a bad thing. They've asked her to pick up a Saturday night shift here and there. And you work a night shift, being a bartender, you can make some really nice money that time frame. So, now she's going to be able to do that, and that's just it's awesome, and I'm really really happy for her. And somebody had made in the comments too. Now she can come and visit her dad in West Virginia, which is true. So she has her own car now. She can plan a trip. I'd like her to be able to come down. Now they can treat her like a slave. No, Heather's not getting treated that way, Joe. Actually, her boss has been very, very good to her. They've been really awesome, and she really enjoys her job. And so, that's a good thing. I mean, that really makes a big difference. But so anyway, hey, stealth mode. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. So yes, it's technically her first car because it's the first car that she's had that's hers that she's driving on her own and doing that type of stuff. So, but you know, but yeah, I'm very happy for her. And like I said, it brought back all those memories. You know what I mean? And it was like I remember. Ed, had you previously bought her a different car? Yes, Terrence, I had bought her that Ford Taurus, and we parked it basically, and I drove it here, parked it, and then we, registered it and insured it, and then it sat for a year and a half. So she didn't have her license. You know what I mean? So no, there'll be no double wedding hope. No, Heather's not getting married. She's too young to be getting married. So no, that is not going to happen. Becky and Rick plan on getting married though next year is when they're going to do that. So yeah, no electric car crap. No, not happening. No, no. So and again, being a four-cylinder, it's going to definitely be more economical on gas, which is good. It's not like she's driving a million miles, but and the car only had that. Are you taking any cats back with you? No, no, Judy. Soxy passed away, so the only cats that are left up here now are Max, and he does not travel well. I when we brought him from Greece, New York to here, he flipped out. I mean, he flipped out. So this is his home, and this is where he's going to stay. There is Miss Molly is still here, and she's been here since she was a kitten, basically. And then Stella. So just the three cats now. I will have to get some cats down in West Virginia as when I get the chance I will. Ed, did you know that Chevy made a 302 engine? I probably, but I don't. I'm not big into the whole car thing. Soxy ended up getting an infection in her tooth, and Heather hadn't noticed it, and she had gone underneath the bed, and she died, through the night, and they found her in the morning. So, but what are you going to do? I mean, it's just one of those things. She had a great life with us. We got her at Lollipop Farm, which is a place where people dump animals, basically. And when we got Miss Soxy, she was already a year old, and on her cage, they had this ridiculous name for her. It was Audrey Sally Marie was the cat's original name, and I'm like, we're not calling this cat Audrey Sally Marie. Um, so we renamed her Socks, but they got rid of her because it said on there, cat needs too much attention, and I'm like, isn't that why you want a cat? But I will say, in the defense of the people that gave up Soxy, that cat was an attention whore. I mean, she demanded her attention. Here I am, pet me. The bees are doing well. I just actually talked to Steve yesterday. They're doing good. No issues with the bees down there. He said he hasn't been going through as much of the sugar water because the weather's been cooler down there as well, and so he had not, he's not going through it like when it's bright and it's sunny and it's nice. They'll go through a full jar in a day. So, but so anyway, yeah, with the all-wheel drive is important for her, especially up here. No splits yet. Nope. No swarms. Nope. Nope. Nothing like that. We're keeping them busy. That's why I put the second box, or I'm sorry, I call it a box, and somebody said no, it's called a super. Yeah, well, it might be called a super, but it's a box. Call it whatever you want. I put the second box on, and so I did that before I left. I don't know why they call them a super. That's what they do. As far as I know, no, he has not gotten stung. Let me know when the seeds arrive. All right, I will. I will. I actually got when I get back, I got to do a video. I've gotten a bunch of stuff that came in the mail that I haven't done a video on. I just like before I left, my whole focus was get a couple things done that I needed to get done down there, and then come up here to spend time with my family and stuff. So yeah, real sad about Tina Turner. Yeah, but you know what? She was 83. That's not a bad run. So good for her. You know, and enjoyed her music. I liked her acting. Mad Max, if you remember Thunderdome. Two men enter, one man leaves. So, but yeah, it was. Again, just like I said, I'm excited for Heather. Glad she's got a car now, so that's a good thing. All right, so what we're going to talk about, a couple different things, obviously, to talk about. Janet Yellen came up and said, "Oh, now we have until the 5th of June. So we get an extra 4 days. It's no longer June 1st because if everybody remembers, this is a Memorial Day weekend, right? The kids were out of school, today. No kids in school today. No kids in school on Monday, and so it is long weekend. A lot of the politicians have gone home for the long weekend so that they can go ahead and relax. I'm so glad that they can go ahead and relax and not take care of the things that they need to take care of in Washington. It's wonderful. I'm so happy for them because if we do get to that point we default, which we've defaulted before, and then it's been a certain amount of time where they did their negotiation and then everybody got back paid and all that good stuff. But you know this could affect people on Social Security. It could affect, the military folks, men and women in the military. It could affect, a lot of different things. They'll close all the national parks on us all, right? Because, oh, well, no, we can't do that. Nope, the parks will all be closed. But the politicians will still get paid. Isn't that wonderful? So you think they care realistically? I mean, I don't know if they do or not. Not saying that they do, not saying that they don't. But to me, actions speak louder than words. And you're not there pounding out some kind of an agreement to get things squared away. Then what are you doing? Why are you going home for a long weekend knowing when you come back, there's a good possibility that things are not going to be squared away yet, right? So, and here's another thing. I was talking to one of the guys in my group, and he was mentioning about Memorial Day weekend here. We got Memorial Day weekend coming up, and a lot of people were saying to him, "Well, happy Memorial Day weekend." And I just kind of want to, as a veteran, I want to remind people what Memorial Day weekend is truly all about. It is about the people that sacrificed everything, about all those men and women that went overseas and came back in a box, that never got to see their family again. That's what Memorial Day weekend is about. Now, I know a lot of people think that Memorial Day weekend is about having a nice cookout and a hot dog and hanging out with your family and your friends and enjoying the long weekend. And yes, we got this long weekend, great. But what it really truly is a time. It should be a time of reflection and appreciation for those that gave everything for this country. Nobody joins the military thinking, "Hey, listen, you know what? I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get killed, and that'll be it." They don't. Nobody thinks that. That's not why you join the military. And yeah, we have that privilege because of those who gave all. Exactly. Yep. And that's what Memorial Day weekend is about. And I want and I know a lot of you guys probably already know that, but he was quite upset, and understandably so, because he's also a veteran as well. And he goes, "Why are these people telling me Happy Memorial Day weekend? It shouldn't be happy. It should be that, like I said, it should be that reflection and appreciation for those that gave everything." So I just to me that's important, and I just wanted to put that out here, in this stream and talk about that. But it's amazing to me. Sorry, I'm late. Just got done planting my garden. Well, that's important as well. That is important as well. So, Jen said, "Thank you, Ed, and all that have served." I appreciate you saying that. I've been out for so long, you know. But here's the weird thing, and I don't think a lot of people will get this, especially if you haven't been in, if you haven't served, you'll never understand. I've had people, complete strangers that I had never met before, and they will say to me, "You're ex-military, aren't you?" And I'll go, "Yeah. How did you know?" They said the way you carry yourself, the way that you act. You know, it's the respect that you learn, for people. Number one, and you carry yourself in that military manner. You will always walk in a military manner. Once you have been in the service and you've gone through basic training, that walk, yeah, the way you walk, absolutely, that never goes away. You walk that way for the rest of your life. That's just the way that it is. And the way that you conduct yourself and the way that you carry yourself, people pick up on that. And I always thought that that was really neat. You know what I mean? And but again, it's yes or no, sir. Please and thank you. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Those type of things. So, but yeah, the gig line always tells a story. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Ed, do you think they will work out an agreement on time? I hope that they do, but I am not holding my breath, Terrence. To be honest with you, wouldn't shock me if it was delayed on purpose by the Republicans to force the hand more so of the Democrats. That wouldn't shock me at all. You got what you have to understand. It's a big game. It is an absolutely big game, you know. So, but yeah, it's just that's just the way it kind of goes. But I'll tell you this too. Like, so when you're in the service, there is a huge rivalry amongst the branches. Whatever branch you're in, you think that's the best branch, and and all that, and you talk crap to the other branches and whatever. It's just kind of what you do. More in good-hearted fun than anything else. But I will tell you what. I think when push comes to shove, I'll take our people in the United States over anybody else because we have an all volunteer army. That's one thing I think that a lot of people don't get. We have a completely volunteer army now, and so the people that go in and serve is because they wanted to, for whatever reason, sense of obligation, sense of duty, uh, minimal choices of what they're going to do with their lives. I know that for me, I'll just kind of tell you my story from a little kid, playing with my GI Joes and my Army men and stuff like that. I always wanted to be a soldier. I always wanted to be a soldier. So, when I was a senior in high school, I never talked to the Marines. I never talked to the Air Force. Never talked to the Navy. I just went straight to an Army recruiter and said I want to join. They gave me the ASVAB test. It's a test that they give you, and apparently I scored very high on that test because I started out as an E2 right from the get-go. So they gave me a stripe right off the bat because of my score. So that was pretty cool. And I was a military wife for 14 years, and I consider myself part of the family. I've sacrificed plenty also. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. The wives and the children of the people in the military, absolutely they sacrifice. Dad gets sent to a new post, everybody moves, right? And so everybody, their whole lives get upended and off they go, for however long they're going to be at the new post. If dad is shipped out or mom is shipped out overseas, uh, like if you go to South Korea, your family can't go with you to South Korea. At least when I was in. I don't know what it is, if it's different now, but when I was in, because we had a guy in basic training when we were waiting on our orders of where we're going to go. None of us, we didn't know where we were going to go. So he had gotten his orders. He was going to South Korea, and he was really upset because he was 18 years old, had just gotten married, and now he's going to be gone for a year to South Korea, and his wife is home. So that was the way it was there. I don't know what it is in other posts. If family can come, like I said, I don't know. I mean, like if you're stateside, you can do that, yes. But overseas, depending, I think, on where you go, you know, uh, I too was a military wife. It's lonely to say the least. Oh, I can imagine. I mean, it's really really tough, So it was considered a remote assignment. No family allowed at remotes. Yep, yep, exactly. So and that's tough on everybody. That's tough on the husband or wife who's serving over there, and they're away from their. I'm going to tell you what, and this is something that I think about when it comes to men and women that are in the service that have wives and kids and they have children. Now, when I was in, I was a single guy, didn't have any kids. I know that when when the first Gulf War happened, I'll give you an example. I'll just talk a couple things about this. First Gulf War happened. I went to a recruiter and I said, listen, I'm ex-military. I'm willing to go back, put me in uniform and send me over there. And he was like, well, right now we're not taking any prior service. And I actually asked him, I said, well, if they start filling up the body bags, will you take me back then? And he said, yeah, then they will, right? Well, the first Gulf War, if everybody remembers, we didn't lose very many men and women in that first Gulf War. So by the time the second Gulf War started, I was with my wife. The twins were born, in October. The Twin Towers happened in September. Kids were born in October. And it was the big, everybody was, going. And she looked at me and she said, don't even think about it. You got too many responsibilities at home. And I didn't. I couldn't even imagine. I got a dog in my lap, is what I have right now. So that's what I'm dealing with over here. I couldn't even imagine having to be away, not even just from your wife, but from away from your children for a year. When I watch those videos, you've probably all seen them on Facebook and YouTube and all that type of stuff, and they do the reunions. And mom or dad has been gone for a year, and now they've come back and they surprise their kid at school, and it makes me emotional just thinking about it, because that as a parent, I couldn't imagine how hard that has to be. Hella's not a dog. No, she's my child. And I told Heather the other day, I said, Hella's my favorite daughter, which is not true. But anyway, being away from your family for that long, it's just, it wears on you, and it's tough and it's hard. And so, that's a huge, huge sacrifice. When you have, folks going in there and they're going overseas and they're going into a combat zone, and the wife and the kids are home and they don't know if mom or dad's going to make it back. I can't even imagine what that has to be like for people. And so, like I said, again, my hat goes off to the people that have to do that. Now, I will tell you this, and I never saw combat when I was in. The stretch that I was in, we were not at war. I actually missed Grenada by like 6 weeks. When I got down to my permanent party at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the guys had just gotten back like 6 weeks earlier from Grenada. So, but anyway, so that's kind of that, and so again, it's a time that we should be reflecting. We should be appreciating the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice that so many people made for us to be able to go out this weekend and cook hot dogs and hamburgers and hang out with your family and drink a couple beers and and do all that type of stuff. When I met a recruiter, he patted me on the head, called me little blondie, told me I was too short because I was only 5'2". Oh my God, that's too funny. That's too funny. My two oldest sisters served in Germany. That's awesome, Hope. So, but yeah, very very tough, very very tough. And so, like I said again, I would just ask you all this weekend, while you're having a good time and relaxing and enjoying time with your families, take a moment, and truly reflect on those that gave everything, because I think that that's hugely important. So what are we at? 336 in the chat. We're at 153 thumbs up. So if you haven't shot a thumbs up yet, guys, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And thank you ahead of time. I really do appreciate that. It really does make a big, big difference with the algorithms as well. So the more interaction that we have, the better it is for the channel. So thank you for that as well. Also, remember, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. All right. So thank you. Yeah, recruiters laughed at Audie Murphy as well. Yes, they did. And even when he made this, and here's what I want you guys to remember: like, you look at Audie Murphy, and when he was making the war movies, that was after the war, and he baby faced. You would never have. Hey, Philip, how are you doing today, buddy? Glad you joined us. You would never thought that he was, somebody that was like one of the most decorated men ever in the military. So you just never know. You just never know. Something else I want to bring up too, guys, really quickly. Okay, a lot of our veterans don't just die in war. Okay, 22 veterans a day commit suicide. 22 a day. That's the number. And I think people also, we need to really, something needs to be done to try to help veterans, especially combat veterans, to cope with what they've had to do, what they've seen. There needs to be a greater effort to reach out to them and to try to help them deal with whatever they're dealing with from what they experienced. I think that that's important as well, because surviving what happened and then coming back and taking your own life down the road, very, very sad. And I know how that is firsthand. My mother was married to a Vietnam veteran, and he had a hard time dealing with what had happened over there, what he saw, what he had to do, his friends dying, and he did eventually commit suicide. And I just think that is, I think that's sad. I just think that that's sad. So, but like I said, but it's called. It's called Give the VFW the Same Medical Treatment to Senators Get at the End. Yeah, no kidding. End of issue. Yeah, they should. They absolutely should. The veterans should be getting the best care, not dealing with, nonsensical crap. These senators and congressmen who are on a different insurance, why aren't they on the same insurance that everybody else is supposed to be on? Why do they get preferential treatment? Why do they get, after serving 4 years, like if you had a 4-year term, your reelection come up and you lost. Now, it's very difficult, just so you know this too, guys, very difficult to lose a reelection unless you're a complete piece of garbage, as far as a congressman or a senator, because you get all kinds of extra money. You're already in. It's very, very difficult to, get put out. But if you did 4 years, then you're going to get a retirement for the rest of your life after 4 years of being, in Congress or Senate. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Some of the vets have survivor guilt. Yeah, let your vets know you want them around. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There is a lot of that. Why did I live and these other people didn't? Yeah, so there's a lot of that, unfortunately. I'm going to tell you what, again, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. Nobody wins in a war. Nobody wins in a war. One side may be the victor, but the toll it takes on the citizens that served, the civilian population where the battles were waged, the destruction of whatever area. Combat vets will be handy the day after SHTF. Oh yeah, no, I definitely. I'll tell you what. I like having ex-military in my group. Not everybody in my group's ex-military, but I definitely like having ex-military in my group because we think different. I don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, it's I don't even know how to explain that, but we are a different group, and we're not the group that you want to screw around with, especially when things go sideways, because we're going to get things done. That's just no such thing as ex-military. You never forget your training. You're right. You're absolutely right. You don't. So yeah, you don't. It doesn't go away. You know what I mean? It does not go away. And you have that military mindset, for the rest of your life. I mean, like I said, I may not always agree with my government. I may not always like my government, but I love my country. And I will. If somebody comes in here with bad intentions, trying to do stupid stuff, I will defend it because I'm going to defend my family and the people that I care about, and that's the bottom line. And that's from all enemies, foreign and domestic. So Uh, but anyway, so we should probably go back on topic, right? But I did want to mention, all that today because I think that it's important, and I'll probably bring it up again on Sunday. I definitely will. Not probably, I know I will. So, hey, does anybody smoke in your group? Yes, yeah, I do have smokers in the group, but again, they realize that's a prep that they have to prep for themselves. I'm definitely not supplying people with cigarettes after at the military has never left me. I still sing cadences 15 years after. People at work love it. Oh yeah, I'll do the same thing. I will do the same thing. I still sing cadences. There's or I'm walking and in my head I'm marking. It's called marking time. So for those of you that don't know, it's called marking time. The cadence is it's your left, your left, your left, right. And so yeah, it's funny. 3 tours in Iraq, 3 tours in Afghanistan, 2 in the Balkans, Namibia, and Rwanda, plus a few other places that shall remain nameless. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That definitely you have some experience. So, but yeah, no. It's as far as the people that smoke in my group, they realize that most likely they're not going to be smoking long after SHTF because smokes are not going to be available. So but the inflection. I'll just and I won't sing any of the cadences because some of the cadences you should not be singing in public, and they are not family friendly. But I'll do one real quick. How when we would be walking, and so what they would do is when you're walking, they want your left foot, then your right foot, and they want everybody obviously walking the same. So like if you watch a platoon walking by, I mean, the arms are moving at the same. I mean, it's eerie to see it. To be honest with you, if you're not used to that, but it's like so the way that in the drill instructor would be the way he would do the cadence. He would be like left, 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 right, left, right, on left, right, on left. So that's kind of how the cadence would go. And as that song would be singing when he would say left, your left foot hit the ground. When he said right, your right foot hit the ground. And so it's that. Oh my God, that brings back so many memories too. But uh, yeah. Again, if anybody is interested, again, I'll put it out here again in this stream. If you're interested in being part of what we're doing in West Virginia, uh, give me and send me an email at preppernurse1@yahoo.com and give me your phone number and I will call you and we can discuss things and I'll tell you what's expected, what we're doing, what we're about, and those type of things. And if you're interested, then we move forward. And if you're not, there's no hard feelings. I mean, I've had people that I've talked to and they were like, I got a small taste of it in the Army ROTC in high school. Oh, that's a small taste, Okie Forge. When you go through basic, that's a big taste. You know, I'll tell you a funny thing. Oh my God! So I did my basic and AIT out in Fort Leonard Wood, in Missouri. Okay, and what AIT is, you've done your 8 weeks of basic training. That's over with, and now you're going for your advanced individual training. That's what they call AIT. So it's learning your job, whatever you're like. You go through basic. They make sure that yep, you can soldier. You know what you're doing. You know you get through that part. Now you go into the next phase. So we get done with basic training. Um, and 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 I'm going to tell you what, you get done with basic, you are so cocksure, you're full of yourself, you're like, yes, we've made it, now we can act like human beings, right? So we go to our first day of AIT, and we were going different places, guys, were different MOSs, and what your MOS is at your job, okay? And so, there was like four of us that were going for, I was a 51 Romeo. So there's four of us going for that. We had other people were going to different spots. So yeah, Fort Lost in the Woods in the state of misery. That's, yes, remember that. But anyway, we go there, we get back. We get back to the barracks, right? Now like I said, we're all full of ourselves. We're all cocky now. We don't have to have these drill instructors up our butt every second. And they had trashed the unit. And they stood there and they're like, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And I remember sitting there feeling so defeated and be like, you got to be kidding me. Are you serious? But what they did, what it was, is they were just letting us know we're still in charge. We're still the man, okay? And so, it was, and it did change. It got really laid back as we got further into it. But they were just reminding us that first day of AIT that we're still in charge. We're still the man. So yeah, it was. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you decide to join the military, I will give you one piece of advice. Do not leave your wall locker unlocked. We had a guy that first day AIT had left his wall locker. What your wall locker is it's a cabinet, good sized cabinet, and it's got all your stuff in it. It's got your uniforms, your extra boots, your sneakers, your t-shirts, your socks, your underwear, any personal stuff that you have. That's what's in your wall locker. And you were only allowed to have certain personal things like pictures and certain things like that. So this guy left his wall locker open. And when we came back, they had taken his wall locker. And I'm telling you guys, it's taller than me. The wall lockers, they're tall. They had taken his wall locker, had thrown all his stuff everywhere, tipped it over upside down, took his shaving creamed everything. You don't leave your wall locker unlocked. You don't, you never did that. So that was something that you had to, it was a bad situation, but yeah, you don't do that. That's not a good thing. So if you have your children, anybody going in the military, tell them, do not leave your wall locker unlocked, or it will end badly for you. So, oh yeah, yep. Yeah, he was not a happy dude after that. I mean, like everything was, they trashed everything. So now he's got to rewash all his clothes. He's got to get everything back and put it back. And oh yeah, it's crazy. Don't take a thing with you. Start getting up earlier and earlier. Start running and doing push-ups if you're on your way to Paris Island. David Rice, yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just you learn. You just learn. And what they're doing. Realistically, what they do, guys, is they break you down. So there is that process of breaking you down, and then they build you back up. And they build you back up the way that they want you. So when you come out of basic training, when you're done with basic training, if they said, go in that direction and kill those people, that's what you're going to do. You're not going to question it. You're not going to think about it. You're just going to do it. Yeah, so it's a whole different thing. It's not quite egg time yet, but thank you for trying to push it. I got 44:53, so I still have time. Uh, but anyway, Firewatch. Remember Firewatch, JJ? If so, before we get into egg count, we'll talk about Firewatch real quick. So everybody had to do Firewatch, and basically what it was is you stayed up, you were on watch for so many hours, and then and usually it was like a 2 hour shift. If I remember correctly, it's we're talking a long time ago, so it was generally like a 2 hour shift, and you would have to be awake and make sure nobody was coming in or out. And if somebody was coming, you would have, your commands that you had to, go through and all that type of stuff. So, and they called it Firewatch. And so I had one weekend I had gotten in trouble. So I didn't get to go out that weekend. And I think we were in AIT and I had Firewatch. And we had one of the guys, so we had 3 floors. Okay. So I was on the first floor. That was like first platoon. Second floor was second platoon. Third floor was third platoon. And so one of the guys comes down to me and he says, "Well, couldn't even tell you the guy's name anymore." He says, "Man, look, dude, this dude, he passed out, and his wall locker's wide open, and he's laying there with his pants down." So I go up he was on the third floor, and this guy he had his key for the wall locker was on a long string, and it was in the lock. The wall locker's wide open. He's got his pants down. He still had his underwear on, but his pants down. So he's like trying to get undressed, and he passed out. So I'm trying to wake him up. And it was not happening. He was that drunk. So what I ended up doing, took his boots off, took his pants off, got him into bed, closed up and locked his wall locker and put his keys where he could find them. I'd gotten trouble shocking. I will tell you stories on that in a second too. My favorite one I will tell you in a minute, but we'll do egg count first. Let's go ahead and do egg count first. We had 361, 205 on the thumbs up, guys. If you have not shot that thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. Again, to thank you. Again, it really does make a big difference with the algorithm. So how many eggs today? And yes or no for thick neck starting. So you go ahead, keep making your guesses, keep making them, because I didn't say start yet. So none of these guesses are counting. So I'm going to stop a second. Okay, starting now. So whoever gets the right guess now will be the winner. I know I'm an a-hole, but it's my rodeo. So some of you had the right guess ahead of time. I saw it, but it doesn't count. So the winner, the person that had the right guess, is Mary Taylor with 7 eggs today and no for Miss Thickneck. So congratulations, Mary Taylor. You are the winner. And you've won absolutely nothing. So congratulations on that. Actually, I'm going to go back real quick and see who had the right answer first before Mary Taylor. So let's see. Mac actually had the right answer. I think Mac would have been the winner. But Mac jumped the gun. So you got to wait. See, Mac, you didn't wait. See, so you blew it. Mac. All right. So we got to do another story time here. So during basic training, you are exhausted all the time. And that's part of the psychological thing that they do, to break you down. You're not getting enough sleep, a lot of physical activity. So you're mentally just exhausted constantly. So we had these books that they called them our SMART book. And some of you that were in the Army may know, they may have called them something different in the Navy, the Air Force, or the Marines. But in the Army, we called it our SMART book. And they would have your general rules, and you had to memorize your general rules. So, they would ask you, an example would be, they would ask you the ranks of generals, right? So the way that you remembered it was be my little general, right? Brigadier general, right? That's first one. So that's B. Major general, lieutenant general, and then general. So 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars, 4 stars. So be my little general was how you remembered. That was the way you remembered that was. And then like the drill instructor can come up to you at any time and say, Private, what is your second general order? And you better know what your second general order is. If you did not know what your second general order was, you're doing push-ups and all that type of stuff, right? So any spare moment that you got, you studied, you know, you studied your smart book. So this particular day, I was sitting up against my wall locker. So my wall locker was behind me. I'm sitting on the ground. I got my smart book open and I'm reading my smart book. Well, folks, I'm going to tell you what. I can fall asleep anywhere, any way, anyhow. Okay, it is a gift, you know. But unfortunately, this particular day, I fell asleep sitting up against my wall locker with my smart book there, and I fell asleep. We had a guy that was ex Air Force that was not. He was like 32. I was 19. I was a kid, um, and he was in the next room past me, and he was a jerk. I mean, he was a jerk, because he was older and he was just an a hole. That's probably the easiest, nicest thing I could say about him. Well, what he did, he went saw me asleep, and instead of being cool and saying, "Hey, dude, wake up," he went and got a drill instructor. So the way that I woke up was this, and I'll never forget this, guys. I'll tell you, I'll never forget this. Garbage can lid. Drill instructor took it here, held it up, and dropped it on the floor. Clang, 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 right? And I look up. There's a drill instructor. Here's this other guy behind there with this smile on his face because he knows I'm screwed. And I'll never forget my reaction. I went and I won't say the word that I said, but I went, "Oh, SH." Okay? And that's exactly what, because I knew I was screwed. We had a thing we did called cannon cockers. They would make you do these things called cannon cockers. So what you did, you would go down, you would do one push up, one sit up, and then one leg lift. So when you lift it, you behind. So you do your push up first, spin around on your back, do a sit up, and then you have to lift your legs up, spread them out, put them back together, and put them down. Then you stood up and you jumped in the air and you went boom. There was one. So now the second one you did two of everything. The third time you did three of everything. And so they would give you 50 cannon cockers. So how many do you end up doing? You're doing a ton. I literally, and then of course, then they would say, hated those. Yeah, Prep Rebel, he remembers. Yeah. I literally wore a spot out on my coccyx. Wore a raw. And of course, then what you're getting, and they're yelling at you the whole time. You got 2-3 drill instructors around you. Well, you got so much sleep there. What? Why? You shouldn't be tired. Why are you tired? And you're shot. You're shot. But yeah, so that one wasn't fun. I will say that was not fun. But those are the things that you look back on, all those years later, and you can laugh about it now. At the time, I was not laughing. It was not fun. It was not a good time. So, I'm going to give you another story here too, guys, because now we're talking military. So I'll tell you another story. So we get, I left for the military November 20th after I graduated high school, because they didn't start our group until then. I wanted to go earlier. I wanted to go like graduate June, off in July, and go to my unit. And it didn't work that way. No, we never gave anybody a blanket party. I got a story about that actually too. I can tell you a story about that. So, anyway, so we went to Buffalo first, and you spend the night in Buffalo, and then they send you out. Well, Thanksgiving is right there. So we ended up spending a week in the reception center. So what the reception center is, you normally go in. You're there for a few days. You get your hair cut. You get your uniforms. They go through and they do all those things and they get you started, and then boom, you're off to your unit. Well, we were in the reception station for a week because it was Thanksgiving. So they weren't doing squat until after Thanksgiving was done. And so they take us into this auditorium and they're like, on your feet. So we're all, we all stand up and, we're sitting in these, in these seats in this huge, huge auditorium. And so these drill instructors on both aisles walk down to the stage and they get up on the stage and they're standing there. And I may have told this story before, but I'll tell you again. And I remember looking up there, and his name ended up being Staff Sergeant Amaker. He was an ex-Marine, did 4 years in the Marine, then he ended up joining the Army, and now he was a drill instructor. He was an E6. He was as black as my phone, okay? I mean, this man was dark. And he was probably about 6'5" and 240. Very, very intimidating. I mean, very, very intimidating. And I remember seeing him, and I focused on him, and I go, oh my God, I hope I don't get this guy, as one of my drill instructors, because he was scary. I was literally scared of this man. So what they do is when they're sending you to your units, they have these things they call it a cattle car, and they get you all in, and it's a big transport, but you're literally you're sitting there. You have your duffel bag between your legs. You have a guy sitting right here. You got a guy sitting right. I mean, you're crammed in. Okay, you remember that story? Yeah. So we're crammed in there, right? And I got this duffel bag. Now I'm a whopping 142 pounds, guys. It's 6 foot tall. All right. So there's nothing to me. I'm not, so I'm sitting there, and what one drill sergeant will get on each cattle car. You got about 50 guys on each cattle car, and you get one drill sergeant. And so who gets on our cattle car? It's Staff Sergeant Amaker. And he starts in, and he goes, any of you people that are any of those effed up organizations like the Ku Klux Klan or the Black Panthers or whatever, and you think you're tough, he goes, I'm here by myself. He goes, come and try to take me right now. Here I am. I'm all by myself. There's nobody else. Come on, come and get some. And I'm sitting there, I got my duffel bag, and I'm like, oh crap, what did I get myself into? I was terrified. And, then you get off the bus, and they're like, they run you, run, move. And you run into the building, and they go, you here. And so you got your duffel bag, and, you're in this bunk. So you put your bag on that bunk. And now get outside. Now you're standing outside, and you're standing at attention, and you're standing there. And it was unbelievably scary. But I will tell you this, Staff Sergeant Amaker was a fantastic drill instructor. He was fair. I've never seen a man more fair, and he knew when it was time to screw around and play. And he would joke occasionally, but he was awesome. He was an awesome drill instructor. So yeah, those are the things, you think about those different things that happened. And he was scary. He was a scary dude. But I was at Clark when Pinatubo erupted. Oh wow, that had to be interesting. So, but it was the whole experience is you can't. It makes you grow as a person, and I will tell you, my own personal thought is this: I think everybody should serve. I think it should be mandatory, at least 2 years of service for everyone, because it makes you grow up. And I will tell you, I know that for myself at that time, I needed to grow up. I was a wild child. I had done a lot of stupid stuff, a lot of stuff wrong, and it really, really made me grow up. And it was a good experience. I mean, it was scary as can be at the time. And, there was a lot of things that happened that, you go, oh my God, but you get through it. And before you know it, you're done with basic, and then you go off to permanent party. And, I will never forget, we get done with basic and AIT. And I know I've told this story before as well, but I'll tell this one again as well. So, we're in our dress greens, right? We're fresh. We're heading off, going to all the places that we're going to go. And we're walking through the airport, and there was like four or five of us walking together. We were all in the same unit. You build that bond with these guys. And, now we're all going off to our military careers. And so we're walking, and guy walks by, and I go, and I turn around and look, and he's turning around looking back. It was Gary Coleman, the actor, and he was fascinated by us, and I was like, "Isn't that the actor Gary Coleman?" And it was so weird because that was an interesting experience. Yeah, public officials, yes, they should serve first before, and I'm not talking cupcake service either. Not National Guard where they didn't go anywhere. Real service, real service. So I was in the army. I was in the army. Unless somebody's asking somebody else what they were in, but yeah, it Alpha 24. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Now it's like when you're giving a number out, right? They got the what's the number on it, and it has all the different letters and then numbers. Well, if you're in the military, you use like Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Sierra, whatever, X-ray. You don't ever forget those. Yeah, I was a combat engineer too, right? I was hooked up with the down at Bragg. I was with the 20th Engineer Brigade. Yeah, so the castle. Interesting times. So, any chance you might write a book, please? Oh my God! If I wrote, guys, I'll tell you what. If I wrote a book about my life, people would say I was lying. They would say I was lying, and it would be 100% truthful. It would be 100% truthful. So, but. Yeah, interesting. I've had a very, very interesting life. I can honestly say that I wouldn't change any of it, to be honest with you, because it made me who I am now. The experiences, the things that I've been through. So, no, I did not drive trains. We got to play with C4. That was fun. I'll tell you what. Any of you guys got a chance in the military to play with C4? That was a good time. That was a good day. That was a lot of fun. So. But all right, what do we got here? We got to do shout outs, guys. I know this whole stream turned into something completely different, but that's okay. They usually do, don't they? C4 equals hot meal. No, C4 does not equal hot meal. That's not what C4 is an explosive. You guys know that. So, but anyway, we're going to do some shout outs. We're going to start out with Icky Can up in Canada. Real good guy. I would ask you to please support him. He's very down to earth and, like I said, really, really nice guy. Also, there is Jason, Angry Prepper down in New York City. You have Alaska Prepper, and that's Rudy. So, I'm looking at some of the comments. Sorry. We have Joe, St. Bernard Acres. There is, oh gosh, my brain is like going absolutely blank today. We have, it has just gone at the moment. The Green Dream Project, yes, out in Arizona. I'm literally brain fog. Green Dream Project in Arizona. You have Marfugal News, Adam and Dax out on the West Coast. There's Kyle's Cabin, Kyle and Sierra. You have Russell Brand. There is Ryan Hall, y'all, awesome guy with the weather. There is Mary Greeley News. You have Green Greg's, Bjorn Hansen, Corporal's Corner, 80K Man up in the Adirondacks, Bizarriza Jizza, who does the Carrington Chronicles, Patera with Appalachian Homestead, the Needy Homesteader. Yep, you have Prep Rebel is another one. There is Pinball Preparedness. You have read the prompter, Joe. That's right. That's right. Southern Prepper One with his Boots on the Ground series. A lot of good information out there. A lot of good information. A lot of good channels. Survival Lily is another one that comes to mind. So, Suspicious Observer, the Economic Ninja, uh, A Little House Off Gritty. I already did Alaska Granny and Alaska Prepper. So there's, like I said, there's a lot of good information. There's a lot of good channels. I think I know I should take a picture on my phone. You're right, but I don't leave that often, and so it was just something that this time I left behind. We got one more live stream, pretty much, and then I will be back in West Virginia. So I just gave it away, but you know, East Tennessee Preparedness. Yep, exactly. So a lot of good channels out there. A lot of good, Doug and Stacy is another good channel. A lot of good information. I definitely believe we should be supporting each other. I think that is important that we do so. So I'll be back soon enough, and I'll have my dirty list that got left out in the rain for 2 weeks. And but a lot of good channels out there. Uh, People look at things differently, and I think it's important that we try to look at different things, seeing different perspectives of what people think. City Prepper comes to mind, you know. So, but yeah, there's a lot, like I said, a lot of good information out there, and we absolutely should be supporting each other. So, good times. So, anyway, we will move on. But I had another story I was going to tell you guys. I'm trying to remember what I was going to say now. Uh, Yeah, I know. Have the info stash in different locations. I should have it up here as well. I should, but what are you going to do? Will I do it? Probably not. Being honest, you know. But anyway, like I said, but I was one of the things I was going to tell you with veterans. After we're out, we still have that little bit of competitiveness about what branch we were in, but we all support each other. And I think that that's really, really cool. And you call yourself a prepper. Exactly. It's a sheet of paper. A sheet of paper, that sheet of paper is not keeping me alive when SHDF happens. There's other things that will. And I have those squared away in multiple locations. So that's, you know, but, uh, but anyway, guys, yeah, there is, just that rivalry's there. It's always going to be there, but it's a brotherhood and a sisterhood that will never go away. And for those folks that actually saw combat, that's a whole different level of that brotherhood and sisterhood because they have a connection on a different level. Again, and I'll be the first to say I never saw combat. Now, as an adult and as a mature man, I'm going to say that I'm glad that I didn't. If I had to at the time, I would have done what I had to do. But we were not in that situation at that time. So, but you know, nobody wants to. I think the normal thinking person does not want to hurt other people. Uh, do you believe in aliens? Yes, I do. Absolutely, yes, I do. I've seen definitive proof many times. Not little green men standing off on the side or anything like that, but when you watch the night sky and you see how things move in the night sky that shouldn't move a certain way, but they do. That pretty much lets me know They got so much documented proof with the space station, seeing different things out there. There's a lot of footage of different things that cannot be explained away. So if you believe or don't believe, that's perfectly fine. You have the right to. What's the matter, baby girl? What's the matter? What are you doing? Come here. Come on up and say hi. Come on. Well, come on. Get up here. Yeah. But there, like I said, you can believe what you want to believe, and that's perfectly fine. I believe, period. And there's not anything that you can say that's going to make me change my mind. So, I think she was scratching her ear. So, right, baby? You're a good girl. She's such a good dog. She is so, I'll tell you what, this, what, baby? Oh, now I get the paw? Yes, I love you. You're a good girl. What? Gonna give me kisses? That's a girl. That's a girl. It's a big baby. This is my child. And she does think she's a lap dog. She absolutely does. So, but I gotta wipe the slobber off my face. uh, she sounds like Chewbacca. I know. She very vocal dog. A very, very vocal dog. She's fun. She's a good dog, though. I can't. She, like I said, she's a great companion, um, and just as loyal as they can be. It's hard to explain comment to someone who has never seen it. Yeah, and it's just, and you shouldn't have to be honest with you. I will tell you one thing, and I'll give some advice to people really quickly. When you meet a veteran and you know they've been in a combat situation, don't ever ask them. Don't ever ask them, have you killed someone? That is very disrespectful. You don't ask those questions, and so I would advise you to never ask that question. If they want to share something with you, then that's perfectly fine. But don't don't press that. You should never press that, and that's just. Hey Troy, thank you very much for the donation. He says maybe a little treat for Hella. Thank you, I appreciate that. So, but yeah, that would be just my one advice to you guys. So, my ex didn't want to talk about Vietnam, so we didn't ask him. There you go, and that's the best thing you could do. You know, and that's one thing I always had that respect. I never asked, even when I was, like I said, when I was a young man before I went into service. I never asked. That's not something that you talk about with certain people. So, but anyhow, all right. We are legion. We are many. We are all over the country. We're all over the world. Where is everybody from tonight? We got Oklahoma, Nebraska with Larry, Dayton, Ohio with Rhonda, Southwest Oklahoma with Richard, Waterloo, New York with Sharon, Franklin County, Ohio. Let's see, Sin City, Nevada. We got Alabama in the house, West Coast of Florida, West Virginia with Morning Light, Missouri and the Ozarks with Delbert, Trenton, Florida. We got Troutman, North Carolina with Troy, Charlotte County, Florida with Gloria, Northern Texas, Greenlee County, Arizona with Codster, Churchville, New York with Kathy. Got Rhode Island in the house. We have East Tennessee with Patty, Leesburg, Florida with Joan, Scott County, Virginia with Midway Farms, St. Augustine, Florida with Diane, East Central Illinois with Lana, Frosty, Central New York with Village Homestead. Texas is in the house with Larry, Southwest Georgia. We have Seattle with Robert, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, or as they say, Taxatussets. Yeah, right. We got Tina in Northwest Arkansas. We got Ann over in the UK. Thank you for joining us. Sonomish, Washington with Wichita. We have Tampa, still in Vancouver Island with Prep Rebel. We have New Hampshire with Brenda, Western New York with Karen, Nowhere, Oklahoma with Okie Forge, West Central Ohio with Dale. So once again, guys, we really truly are all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge, huge network of people. We got Hope in Michigan. I found Waldo was down in Texas, Space Coast of Florida. So Olympic Peninsula, Washington, very nice. Central Iowa with Robert. But again, we're all over the place. We're a huge network. We should be trying to work together, trying to help each other if we can. I think that that's important to try to do that if we can. Oh, 4 more days for what? Uh, Janet Yellen said that we have to default and not June 1st anymore, that it'll be June 5th is when we'll default on what we owe if they don't raise the debt ceiling. So obviously, all the politicians have the long weekend, so they're all enjoying their time with their families and not worrying about raising the debt ceiling or getting it under control. So Western North Carolina, we have Austin, Texas is also in the house. So that's what the topic was. We did talk about it briefly in the beginning of the stream, but then we got off the rails, and that does happen. I am easily distracted, so that the best way to get me off a topic is ask a question or whatever in the chat, and I try to get to everybody. Obviously, I can't get to everybody. We got Greensboro, North Carolina with Steve, Houston, Texas with Prepper Patty. So, but so we'll see what happens with that if they get that done in time. I don't have a whole lot of faith in them, so I doubt that they'll get it in time. So, that's my take, But anyway, I want to thank my moderators, folks, that do a fantastic job keeping the chat clean. Really appreciate ladies and gentlemen that moderate for me. It means a lot to me. So thank you for what you do. Also, I want to thank you guys for being here, supporting me on the channel. It does mean a lot as well. A lot of fun. I do enjoy these chats, and Wishika says, I like it when we go off topic. Well, that's pretty much every stream, isn't it, Wishika? It's every stream. Actually, I've had a couple where I've literally stayed on topic the entire time, which I think you guys were like, oh my God, you stayed on topic for the whole stream. So it does happen occasionally. So just, what is that old saying? Every once in a while, a blind squirrel even gets a nut. So there you go. All right, guys. Remember, we truly are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. As soon as we can figure that one out, we will be in much, much better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us using race, religion, political affiliation. It's all nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. We have to come together as human beings. And when we can do that, then the powers that be are going to quake in their boots, because that is true power, to be honest with you. So also remember to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really, really important to tell the people that you care about every day how you feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that is going to stop you from achieving your goal is you. That's it. Nobody else. Stay positive. Stay away from the negativity, and you're going to be just fine. You really will. I got one more quick story for you before I jump off here. So those of you that stayed around get this little extra thing. So during basic training, you go through all kinds of different things. You're doing all kinds of different things. So I was in an 8-man room. And Staff Sergeant Amaker, the one I was telling you guys about earlier, comes in the room and he said, "Who's taking first aid already?" And I put my hand up because we had to do the different things. So I said, "Well, I have, Sergeant." He says, "Here you go. It's a medical box. Wherever we go, you carry that around with you." And it was a box. It was like, it was like an ammo box. It was this big and this tall on a strap. And so wherever we went, I had to carry that stupid ammo box first aid kit because I put my hand up. Don't volunteer for nothing. And I'm thinking, I'm 142 pounds and now I got to carry this stupid first aid. But it's a foreshadowing, because what do I end up becoming in life, right? I become a nurse. So there I was. He goes, "You're the medic. you carry the first aid box wherever we go. So that was fun. All right, guys, listen, I will see you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse One out for now.